Hey guys, it's Jessica and I am back with the tutorial on how I made these hardbound recipe books using a book from the Dollar Tree, and it's something I shared in my last video. I also mentioned in that video that you could turn them into like a brag book or a scrapbook. And I did get one of them done, but my spine ended up cracking and it's not fully complete yet. So as soon as I get that done, I will be back to share that version of it. So if you want to make the recipe book like the one I shared in my previous video, you're going to need one of the hardbound photo albums from the Dollar Tree, as well as a bone folder, some double-sided tape, a craft pick, a piece of chipboard, and I will put all of the measurements for everything you need in the description of this video, so that way you can just refer back to it. In addition to that piece of chipboard, you will also need 2 pieces of scrapbook paper for the outside cover as well as the inside cover. So in order to make this video a little bit faster, I did go ahead and add all of my double-sided tape to the 2 pieces of paper that I will be using. But the first thing we need to do is empty out the pocket of that book. And now we're going to be gluing in that piece of chipboard. If you don't have chipboard, you can certainly use a shoe box or a cereal box, anything that's kind of thin cardboard that you can easily cut with your paper trimmer. And we are adding that chipboard in so that way we don't have an empty square in the front of our album. So that way when we cover it up with our paper, it's not a weak point on our book. And you'll notice that I did just tear out all of the photo pages, and that's because they are easy to put back in, and it makes it much easier to cover the book once those pages are out. So I did glue that front pocket closed just so that won't be popping up once we add our double-sided paper. So I take my bigger piece of scrapbook paper and I adhere it down to the book cover with my double-sided tape, and now I'm going to go around all 4 corners and trim them off. If you ever made a mini album before, you know that you have to trim these corners. But if it's not something that you're familiar with, you do that simply so you can reduce the bulk and the amount of paper in those corners. So I am just going to go around all 4 sides of the book and use my bone folder and burnish down that paper. And just try and get it to adhere and stick really nicely and nice and crisp, so I don't create any cracks or tears in my paper. I'm just going to go over it again once all 4 sides are down, and then go around the insides and make sure everything is nice and adhered down. Now you do want to take your bone folder and go over where the spine is, so that way you can break up the fibers in your paper so you can start bending that spine with your newly added paper. And we're going to do it again once we add the inside cover as well. But if you'll notice, I'm constantly trying to move and mess with that spine just so it's not so stiff. If you find that it is staying open and not really wanting to close, definitely use some clips to hold it closed, or you can put something heavy on it and try and train it to close. Definitely don't use something too heavy though, because you will break the spine. So I have taken off the tape for my inside cover, and I am just going to center that the best I can and adhere it down. I did want to say that I got a lot of crafting done today, so I have a lot of videos coming up. I do have some crafty hauls as well as some craft fair ideas that I have been working on with my Cricut and with faux leather and all sorts of stuff coming up. So if you are interested in that kind of stuff, definitely stay tuned. And I also am going on a craft retreat in the near future, so I'll be working on more stamps and dies and paper type craft fair ideas at my retreat. So I'll be having those videos come up soon as well. So back to this project, now that I've added the inside cover, I did go through it with my bone folder once again and just make sure that those spine areas were nice and burnished. Now, when you tore out when I tore out the pages, there is a plastic piece that comes with the book, and I left that plastic piece on because it made it easier to adhere it back into the book. So I actually used double-sided tape as well as liquid glue. And you'll notice in the recipe book that I shared in my previous video, I also added ribbon to keep it tied in. You don't have to do the ribbon, but it's just something that's an extra security to keep it in. So you can see here on the scrapbook style, I did not add the ribbon in. And honestly, I found that just adhering it in with the glue and tape has worked just fine. So that is it for my project today, and thank you so much for being here.